Now today we are going to discuss about the Buddhism and Jainism. Remember, these two important religions which flourished in India, it basically happened because of one important factor. And just now please focus on my lecture. You see, what happened around 1000 BC, try to understand, giving you the background that why this religion came into existence. Around 1000 BC, we have the discovery of iron, and this iron basically introduced the new type of tools into the agriculture sector. It means before the invention or the discovery of the iron, nearly the tools or the weapons which were made up of wood were used. So after 1000 BC, when iron was discovered, a new type of implements were started to be used, and this technique of iron basically enhanced and increased the output of the agricultural productivity. And this increase in the productivity of the agriculture basically gave rise to a special class. At that point of time, they were the Vaishya. You see, we have the 4 Varna system based on the karma and both based on the birth. What is the Brahmin? Then we have Kshatriya, Vaishya and the Shudra. Vaishya were basically the business class people, and they were mostly engaged in the profession of agriculture in those periods. So when this Vaishya community started to earn higher, they wanted to improve their educational qualification, and they wanted to have the learnings. But you know it very well, into the Vedic and later Vedic period, the learning of Sanskrit was only confined to the 2 main classes of the society, that was Brahmin as well as the Kshatriya. So what happened, when this basic class started to rise in the social status, they wanted to educate themselves. So they wanted such teachers, or they wanted such individuals who can propagate the knowledge in the vernacular language. What is vernacular language? The local languages in which they used to read, write and understand the thing, because Sanskrit was only confined to the 2 basic classes, that is the Brahmin as well as the Kshatriya class. So they wanted to have a different set of people, different set of knowledge, different set of preachers, or you can say the instructor or the guide, which could really make them understand each and everything, not in Sanskrit but in the vernacular language, or in the which one? The local language of that time, Pali and Prakrit. This particular urge by the Vaishya class basically gave the space to the teachings of Buddhism and Jainism, who mainly focused on one thing, that is the karma. So according to Buddhism and Jainism, their main vows, you can say, or their main teachings or their main inspiration to the society and to the people was what? That the karma. You should only focus on the karma, and rest you leave it to the God. The karma was given the most important concept. And because of this particular thing, and one more thing, by the time when Buddhism and Jainism started to flourish in our society, and up to that point of time, the domination of the Brahminical society over the other 3 classes of the society was very high, and they indulged the people into the karma kand. They basically, what is karma kand? That is puja part, havan, all these things taken up. So because of this particular factor, when Buddhism and Jainism started to put their foot into the Indian society, because of the rise of the Vaishya class, because of the, we can say, the support by the Vaishya class and the Kshatriya class as well, these 2 religions came into prominence. It was, we can simply summarize one thing, these 2 religions was against the domination of Brahmins, it was against the domination of the upper class, it was against the domination of the Sanskrit language. These 3 factors gave rise to Buddhism and Jainism in this particular society. Now come to the first one. Now we are going to understand about Mahatma Buddha, or the Gautam Buddha. You see, he was not a normal person, he was already a king of a particular dynasty that was called as the Kapilavastu. Try to understand one thing, this Buddhism was started by Gautam Buddha, who is also known as the Sakya Muni or Tathagat. Remember one thing, he is known by 2 other names. One is the Sakya Muni and other is the Tathagat. Sakya Muni, we call him Sakya Muni because he was born in the Sakya clan, and he was born in 563 BC at Lumbini. And Lumbini is where? It's near Kapilavastu in the district of Nepal. So if the question comes, where was the Buddha born? You will say he was born in Lumbini at near Kapilavastu, district of the Nepal. And remember one thing, the day he was born, that was the day of Purnima. Remember one thing, this Purnima is associated with the Buddhism in 3 ways. The day he was born, that was also Purnima. The day he will attain the perfect knowledge, or you can say enlightenment, that will be also on the day of Purnima. And the day he will give up his entire life, it means when he will go for the enlightenment purpose, that is the death one, that will also be on the same day of Purnima. So Gautam Buddha, who is also a Sakya Muni, and Tathagat means one who has the perfect knowledge, who has the knowledge of each and everything, is known as Tathagat. So remember one thing, Gautam Buddha, also known as the Sakya Muni or Tathagat, was born in 563 BC. Don't forget this particular fact, 563 BC, at which place? Lumbini, which is near Kapilvastu district of Nepal, on the day of Purnima. I told you it's the day of Purnima, which is the full moon day. His childhood name was the Siddharth. His father was Sudhodan, who was the ruler of the Saka dynasty, and the mother name was Mahamaya, who was the princess of the Koshal dynasty. It means the Mahatma Buddha basically belonged to the which one? So you will say Sakya clan or the Sakya dynasty. His father was Sudhodan was the father and Mahamaya was the mother. The dynasty or the clan or once कहते हैं in which he was born, the name of the dynasty was the Shakya. Born on the day of Purnima. Childhood name was Siddharth. Father name was Sudhodan. And mother name was Mahamaya, who was the princess of the Koshalan dynasty. Is it clear to all of you? So you have to remember 5 facts from this particular thing. He was born in 563 BC. Place of birth was Lumpini. That is near Kapilvastu in Nepal. Father was Sudhodan. Mother was Mahamaya. सब याद हो गया? Is it done? Next is just 7 days after the birth of Gautam Buddha. 7 days after the birth of Gautam, Kosal dynasty. 7 days after the birth of Gautam Buddha, his mother died, and any doubt? All of you, can you please respond me? Remember, after his birth has taken place, then after his birth when 7 days have passed after his birth, his mother has died and he was brought up by his stepmother Mahaprajapati Gautami. Don't forget this particular thing. So if the question comes, who was the stepmother, or we can say who was the caretaker mother of Gautam Buddha, you will say it's the Gautami. It's the Gautam Buddha was brought up by Mahaprajapati Gautami, who gave him the title of Gautam. In his childhood, he used to play with his horse named Kanthak. This is also a very important question. It has come into several of the exams. What was the name of the horse of Mahatma Buddha? You will say it's the Kanthak. It has been asked in KBC also several times. And when he was at the 16 years of his age, he was married with extremely beautiful Yashodhara and had a son named Rahul. After seeing the sorrow of the world, Gautam Buddha decided to leave the pleasure of the life and start living the life of the wanderer. Remember one thing, his mother died at the age of the 7. He was brought up by Gautami, we can say Prajapati Gautami, who gave him the name of the Gautam. The second important thing you have to remember is that the name of his horse was Kanthak, and at the age of 16 years, he was married to Yashodhara. So you have 3 names here. One is the which one? Mahamaya. Mahamaya was the name of the mother. Sudhodhan was the name of the father, and Yashodhara is the name of the wife. 3 names, don't forget. And Kanthak is the name of the horse, and Mahaprajapati Gautami was the foster mother, or you can say the stepmother, who brought up which one? You will say Gautam Buddha. Next important thing is that when he was at the age of 16 years, he was married with Yashodhara and he had a son named which one? Rahul. Now, one day when he was walking over the street, he came to realize that there are a lot of sufferings in the world and how these sufferings can be overcome. So he started to ponder over that particular thing. He started to think about that particular sufferings and all, because he has got witness of few incidents in his life based on which his mind completely changed. Exactly after 7 days, the mother Mahamaya was dead and he was brought up by Mahaprajapati Gautami. Now you see, at the age of 29 years, when he turned 29 years, he left the home in search of salvation, or we can say called nirvana, because he wanted to free the world, he wanted to free the mankind from the sufferings. Because I will tell you further what were his teachings. But first of all, try to remember one thing. When he turned 29, he left his home in search of the salvation, or we can say the nirvana. And first of all, reached which particular place? Vaishali. This is a place in Bihar. And Vaishali, whose capital was Vajji, is supposed to be the first republic in the world. Republican at that point of time simply mean all the kings of this Vajji confederacy were elected representative. Salvation simply means what? Nirvana. What is nirvana? Freedom from the cycle of birth and death. ये जन्म मरण का बंधन है कि ऐसा माना जाता है कि we are born into this particular body, then when we will die we will take the body of some other creature. So this is what cycle of birth and death. So a person who used to attain the God, who used to, ऐसा माना जाता है mythologically कि अगर हमें भगवान की प्राप्ति हो जाती है, अगर हम पूर्ण ज्ञान को प्राप्त कर लेते हैं, परफेक्ट नॉलेज को अटेन कर लें, देखिए ना, then we get salvation, that is we get free from the cycle of birth and death. So in order to have the salvation or the nirvana, he left the home at the age of 29, and first of all, he reached the which particular place? Vaishali. This is very important thing, which was the first place at which Mahatma Buddha basically arrived after leaving the home. Remember one thing, when he left the home, the Kanthak was with him, the horse, and there was also a charioteer whose name was Channa. ये भी क्वेश्चन वही आ रहा है कि जब वो घर से निकल रहे थे, जब घर से बाहर निकले, जब उन्होंने गृह त्याग किया, when he left his home, then what was the name of his charioteer who guided him to reach the city of Vaishali? The name of the charioteer was Channa. ठीक है ना? And when he reached Vaishali, he first became the disciple of his first guru was Alara Kalam. Don't forget his name. If the question comes, who was the first teacher, who was the first mentor, or you can say first guide of Mahatma Buddha, you will say it was Alara Kalam. He was the first teacher of Mahatma Buddha. But he was not convinced by the teachings of Alara Kalam, and he moved from there and became the disciple of Udrak Ramputra. ठीक है ना? His next important teacher was the Udrak Ramputra. So first is Alara Kalam and second is Udrak Ramputra. Bhai, this is an English medium batch, so that is why the entire oration is being done in English. It's not a Hindi medium batch. Is it clear? Now please don't post that particular comment ki why in Hindi, why not in English, why in English, why not in Hindi. Please don't put these comments. This is an English medium batch, dear. Try to understand. Next is that, so I told you, when he left the home at the age of 29, he was with his Kanthak and Channa. Kanthak was the horse, Channa was the charioteer. His first guru was Alara Kalam, and the second guru from which he came to realize the basic understanding of this lively world was Udrak Ramputra. Then for 6 years he wandered from one place to one other place, and one day at Bodh Gaya, under the people tree that is called the Bodhi tree, he attained the Nirvana, not Nirvana, or the enlightenment, we can say, at the age of 35 years. And remember one thing, this Bodh Gaya is on the bank of the river Sadanira. Don't forget it, Sadanira. And this Sadanira at present day is known as Falgu. And Falgu is that river in Bodh Gaya which separates the state of Bihar and Jharkhand. So if they ask you on the bank of which river Mahatma Buddha attained the enlightenment or the perfect knowledge, then you will say it's the Sadanira. People is the name of the tree. People is a tree. You haven't seen the people tree. Have you seen the Bharat Ratna symbol? This Sadanira is presently known as the which one? Falgu river. The name of the river is Falgu. In the ancient time, it was known as Sadanir. Now it is not, or we can call it by another name as well. इसका एक और भी नाम था Niranjana river. In the some of the books you will find Niranjana river. So Sadanir and Niranjana are the same thing. The name of the river is Sadanira or the Niranjana, and the present day name of this river is what? Falgu. So his mother died at the age of 7 years. He got married at the age of 16 years. He left the home at the age of 29 years, and he attained Nirvana, or not Nirvana, we can say he attained enlightenment at the age of 35 years. Don't forget this. And remember one more thing, that he was born in 563 BC at Lumbini in Nepal. Next important thing is that Tapaso and Malik, they became the first disciple of Gautam Buddha. इनके पहले शिष्य थे Tapaso and Malik, whereas Ananda was the most favorite disciple of Gautam Buddha. The most favorite disciple of the Gautam Buddha was which one? Ananda. The first two disciples were Tapaso and Malik, and the first two guru of Mahatma Buddha was, one was Alara Kalam and second was Udrak Ramputra. Is it clear to all of you? You see, for the railway point of view, you need to be very factual. Disciple means follower, Sishya. Suppose if I am teaching you, then you are my disciple. ऐसे समझो. Now see, Gautam Buddha delivered his first sermon. Sermon is basically teachings, the things he has learned from enlightenment, the thing he has learned from his gurus. Then that the same teaching he wanted to flourish into the society, so that the people should also get educated and the people should also understand what is wrong, what is good, the deeds, the karma. They should, in order to make the people understand, he started delivering his teachings. And the first sermon or the first teaching was delivered at the Sarnath on the topic Dharma Chakra Parivartan, or turning of the wheel of law. धर्म चक्र परिवर्तन. Don't forget this. The current location of Bodh Gaya is in Bihar. Bodh Gaya is still in Bihar. Remember one thing, Gautam Buddha gave his first sermon, delivered his first sermon, his first teaching at which place? At Sarnath. On the which topic? Dharma Chakra Parivartan, which means turning of the wheel of law. And remember one thing, in his last day of the life, he again reached Vaishali, where his disciple named Kunda fed him pork, due to which he died at the age of 80 years in 483 BC at Kushinagar district, Devariya in the Malla Republic. His death is known as Mahaparinirvan. Got it? First sermon means first lecture to the public, first teachings to the people in order to spread the knowledge of Gyan and all. Sarnath, exactly, Sarnath, we can say it's near Varanasi. You are correctly right. It is near Varanasi. So Gautam Buddha gave his first sermon, first teaching at Sarnath on the which topic? Dharma Chakra Parivartan. That is called the turning of the wheel of law. And in the last day of his life, he reached the Vaishali, where one of his disciples, और उनका जो एक शिष्य था Kunda, don't forget his name Kunda, he fed him with the pork. उनको pork खिलाया था, due to which it is believed that he has died at the age of 80 years at 483 BC. It means he was born in 563 and he died in 483. So the total time period was how much? 80 years. He died at the age of how much? 80 years. 563 and 483. Is it clear to all of you? Am I audible to all of you? Exactly. Wheel of law basically means from Dhamma to the karma. Basically, wheel of law simply means that karma is the most important thing, and unless until you don't focus on your karma, unless until you don't practice karma, you cannot achieve everything in your life. In order to achieve good deeds in the life, you need to be, which one? Karmic. That is called the wheel of law. Clear everyone? So till now we have understood, by summarizing the Buddhism. I told you he was born in 563 BC. Name of the father was Shuddhodhan, mother was Mahamaya, then foster mother was Gautami. Then we have his wife was, what is the name of the wife? I told you, Yashodhara. The name of the wife was Yashodhara. The name of the son was Rahul. Name of the horse Kanthak. Yashodhara was the name of the wife. Kanthak was the horse. Channa was the charioteer. First guru was the Alara Kalan. Second was the Ramputra. Then he gave his first sermon at Varanasi, at Sarnath near Varanasi. Then he died in Vaishali, and he first arrived in Vaishali always. So we can simply say that Vaishali was the first place and the last place of Buddhism. Not Buddhism, in the life of Mahatma Buddha. He died in 483 BC. At which particular place? You will say Kushinagar. And Kushinagar is located in the Devariya district in the Malla Republic. Devariya district in the Malla Republic. Don't forget it. Kushinagar district, Devariya in the Malla Republic. And his death is known as Mahaparinirvan. Don't forget this. The death of Buddha is known as what? Mahaparinirvan. And the leaving of the home. ये भी पूछता है. What is the leaving of the home in Buddhism known as? When he left the home at the age of 29 years, what that incident came to be known as? You will say Mahavi Nishkraman. Mahavi Nishkraman. Don't forget this word. Mahavi Nishkraman. What is this Mahavi Nishkraman? Leaving of home. Ghar tyagna. Now you see, teachings of Buddha. What were the four great truths of the life? That is called the teachings of Buddha. You see, Mahatma Buddha has told that the world is full of sorrow and misery. Sansar dukh se bhara hua hai. The world is full of sorrows and miseries. The desire of human being is the main cause of his sorrow. ठीक है ना? यानी कि जो इच्छा है मानव का जीवन में. The present day Kushinagar is near Gorakhpur. It's near Gorakhpur. Don't you know pork, Vivek? Pork is basically जो सुअर का मीट होता है. Pig meat को pork बोलते हैं. Beef is cow meat. Mutton is goat. Chicken, you know it. ठीक है ना? So first four teachings of the Buddha is that he told that the world is full of sorrow and miseries. ये जो पूरा संसार है दुख से भरा पड़ा है. The desire of the human being is the main cause of their suffering or their sorrow. And if there are no desires, there are no sorrows. And the desires can be conquered by eightfold paths. Simple चीज इसने कहा है कि the root cause, the world is full of sorrow. Desire is the root cause of sorrow. And if desire is conquered, if the desire is controlled, then there will be no sorrow. So in order to avoid the sorrow, you need to desert your desire. आपको अपनी इच्छाओं पर काबू करना पड़ेगा. You need to control the desire. And in order to control the desire, you have to follow eightfold path, which we call as Ashtangik Marg. Ashtangik Marg. And what is Ashtangik Marg? इसमें 8 teachings दी गई हैं कि if a person has to overcome his desire, if a person need to control his desire, then he will have to follow these 8 rules and regulations in his personal life just in order to avoid the desire. But this may be good for the Buddhism, but in case when we read the economy, it's bad for the economy, because if a person's desire is deserted, अगर market में desire नहीं होगी तो demand नहीं होगा, and if there is no demand in market, there will be no production. If there is no production in the market, there will be no employment, and if there is no employment in the market, it means there will be a lot of poverty. So these are the basic thing. Got it, guys? Any doubt, anything, any query? Please tell me. All of you. So everything is गेटिंग रिमेंबर्ड. आपको सब चीज़ें याद हो रही है ना? मैं इस पे जान के इतना बार बार चीज़ों को बोल रहा हूँ ताकि आपको चीज़ें बिल्कुल कंठस्थ हो जाए. देयर शुड नॉट बी एनी डाउट इन योर माइंड एंड एवरीथिंग शुड बी क्रिस्टल क्लियर टू ऑल ऑफ यू. Malla is basically the name of one of the Mahajanpads. There were 16 Mahajanpads in which one of them is the Malla. It's the name of the place. Now, what is the eightfold path of Buddhism? Please listen to, let's go through it very properly. He told there should be right speech. What is right speech? Always tell truth. Right livelihood. Your means of livelihood should be correct. You should not steal something. You should not do something which is mischievous to anyone. You should not do the professions of stealing, dacoities, murder. This is called livelihood. In order to, then we have right efforts. It means we should always, if we are targeting for our any objective, if we are going for our any goal, we must make some right effort over it. Now, what is right effort? So right effort simply means you should be honest in your karma, you should be honest in your practice, and certainly you will achieve the goal of RRB and TPC. Simple. If you are preparing for RRB and TPC and if your efforts are correct, it is in the right direction. If you are not getting yourself deviated from one point to the other point, you are certainly going to achieve that. So there should be right speech. It means you should always tell truth you should always speak truth. You should not lie to anyone because you know it. In order to hide one lie, we have to speak many of them. Second is your livelihood should be earned through proper means. It should not be uske raaste sahi hone chahiye. It should be right deeds, not the bad deeds. Your efforts should be okay. Your thoughts should be okay. You should not think bad for anyone. You should always be good to everyone. Right action, that is karma, should be good. Right remembrance. Logon ko remembrance is what? You should understand ki what is good, what is bad. Right concentration, that is the ekagrata. You should concentrate on the objective or the goal for which you are eyeing. And right mindfulness, with the right direction. Positive thoughts. According to Gautam Buddha, the person after following these eightfold paths is free from the cycle of birth, death and rebirth and is gained by following it. So if a person is able to follow these eight disciplines, these guidelines given by the Mahatma Buddha, he will be having no suffering. He will be having no suffering. He will be free from all the sorrow. He will be free from all the desire, and most importantly, he will be free from the cycle of birth and death. All of you, is it clear? Or do you have any of the doubt? If you can please clarify. Hi Naren. So remember one thing, in order to attain the nirvana, in order to attain the, you can say, to overcome the ill effects of desires, you should follow these eightfold paths. So remember one thing, Buddha has given the four teachings that the world is full of sorrow. Root cause of sorrow is the desire. If desire is controlled, the sorrows can be overcome. And the fourth important teaching of Buddhism is that if any individual will follow the eightfold path, none of his desire, sorrow will be left over, and he will also be free from the from the cycle of birth and death. This will help you in all the exams. Now you see, all the teachings of the Buddhism were compiled into the form of literatures, and it were written in the which one? Pali language. Don't forget this particular thing. In which language the Buddhist literatures were written? You will see in the Pali language. The first one is the Vinaya Pitaka. It deals with the laws of the Buddhist monasteries, and it was recited by Upali. The Vinaya Pitaka was recited by Upali in the first Buddhist council in the year 483 BC. We have now, these are the literature of the Buddhism in the Buddha. First one is the which one? Vinaya Pitaka, which was written by Upali or recited by Upali, and it was on the Buddhist laws of the Buddhist monastery. Do you understand what is monasteries? No, we are getting freedom from the cycle of birth and death. What is rebirth? If you are an individual, I am an individual. When we leave this world, when we die in this body, then it is believed that, according to Buddha, if you think, then he gave the example of one candle. Try to understand this. He told it is a candle. When candle starts burning, then what happens? The entire wax of which the candle is made, it gets exhausted, it gets completed. But before the ending of this candle, if we use the light of this candle, another candle can be lit by it. So he told that the light is the soul of the candle and wax is the body of the candle. So when a person dies, it's the body which is left over, but the soul transfers from one body to the other body. It means he checks the life of some other creature, he checks the birth of some other creature according to his karma. So he told, it means you are not able to leave this entire world, and you keep on roaming over here in different forms of the life, whether it is plant form, animal form, human form, men form, women form, आप चलते रहते हो. So he told if a person will follow these eightfold paths, then he will be free from the cycle of birth as well as death. That is the meaning thing. These are the languages. What is the difference? Means what? Alphabetic difference are there. Next one. Next one is the Sutta Pitaka. It is the collection of Buddha's sermons. All the teachings of Buddha has been compiled into a book that is called Sutta Pitaka. And it has been divided into 5 parts. Then we have Abhidhamma Pitaka. It deals with the life and the philosophy of the Buddha's teachings. Don't forget this. This Abhidhamma Pitaka basically deals with the life and the philosophy of the Buddha's teachings. And Milindapanno, it deals with the conversation with the Greek king Menander and the Buddhist monk Nagsen. The conversation between two intellects. One is the king of the Greek king Menander, who also embraced Buddhism, and second is the Buddhist monk Nagsen. So this conversation between the Nagsen and the Menander has been compiled into a literature that is called the Milindapanno. Don't forget this. Milindapanno. This is a conversation between two individuals, Nagsen, the Buddhist monk, and the Greek king Menander. And Tripitaka is the main sacred book of the Buddhism. So in order to become the Buddhist monk, an individual have to follow certain rules and regulations. Then only he can be made the Buddhist monk. And for that, all the disciplines have been written into which one? Sutta Pitaka. Vinaya Pitaka. So Vinaya Pitaka is about the laws of the Buddhist monastery. What is Sutta Pitaka? You will say it's the teaching. It comprises of the teachings of the Buddha. Abhidhamma Pitaka is the story of the life story of Buddha along with his philosophy. Milindapanno, the conversation between Menander and Nagsen. And Tripitaka is the main sacred textbook of Buddhism. Clear all of you? This is all about the Buddhism. Mr. Kumar Ganit, this is an English medium batch, so no Hindi. Sorry for that. Now we have the next one, Buddhist councils. 4 Buddhist councils were held. Remember one cone. First was at the Rajgiri, second was the Vaishali, third was held at Patliputra, and fourth was held at Kashmir. So RVPK. Remember this particular word RVPK. This is Rajgiri, Vaishali, Patliputra, and Kashmir. These are the 4 places where the Buddhist councils were held year after year. First is Rajgiri, second is Vaishali, third is Patliputra, and fourth is the Kashmir. The first council was held in 483 BC, just after the death of Buddhism. The same year in which Gautam Buddha died, the same year the first Buddhist council was held at the Satparni caves near Rajgiri in Bihar under the chairman of Ajat Shatru. And in the first Buddhist council, Vinay Pitak was recited by Upali, whereas the Sutta Pitak was recited by Anand. So we have two important recitation. Vinay Pitak was recited by the Upali and Sutta Pitak was recited by the Anand. And you remember one thing, this Upali and Anand were the disciples of the Mahatma Buddha. So first Buddhist council was held at Satparni caves, at which place you will say in the Rajgiri, and it was under the chairmanship of, we can say, the great king of that time, Ajatashatru. He was the ruler of the this one, Shishunag dynasty. And this, in the very first Buddhist council, two important texts were compiled. Councils, for a council is for the meetings. Council means meetings. It means the place where the people used to sit together and discuss on what are the issues that we need to resolve just in order to propagate the religion of Buddhism. So the councils were held. इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं बौद्ध संगतियां, ठीक है ना? And in these councils, the things were decided at what things we really need to do just in order to propagate and promote the religion of Buddhism. So in order to have the Buddhism propagation and the promotion of Buddhism, we have the councils held at all these places, ठीक है ना? So the first council, Buddhist council, was held in the which year? 483 BC. It was held at Satparni caves, at which place? Rajgiri, that was in Bihar, and the king was from the Haryak dynasty. Then we have the king of Ajatashatru. Then we have, and in the very first Buddhist council, two particular, exactly, Ajatashatru is from the Haryak dynasty. You are right, Avinash, ठीक है ना? And these two books, Vinay Pitak and Sutta Pitak, Vinay Pitak was recited by Upali and Sutta Pitak was by the Anand. Then we have the second council. It was held at Vaishali. The second council was held in the year 383 BC. Don't forget this particular word. 383 BC. That was at Vaishali, 100 years after the death of the Buddha. The second council was held and the chairman was King Kal Ashok. The king was Kal Ashok. Third council was held in 250 BC at Patliputra, and the king and the chairman was the Ashoka, under the chairmanship of Ashoka. And the fourth council was held in the 78 AD. In the 78 AD at the Kundalvan in Kashmir, and the king was Kanishk. And in the fourth council, Buddhism was divided into two parts, Hinayan and Mahayana. So we have two sects of Buddhism. Other is called as the, which one? Hinayan, and other is called the Mahayana. So if the question comes, in which Buddhist council Buddhism was divided into two sects, दो संप्रदाय में बांटा गया, ठीक है ना? तो you will say it was divided into the fourth Buddhist council that was held under the rule of Kanishka in 78 AD at Kundalvan in Kashmir, and Buddhism was divided into Mahayana and Hinayan. So first council is 483, second is 383, third is 250 BC, and fourth is 78 AD. First was at Rajgiri, and the king was the, which one? Ajatashatru. Second was Kal Ashok, third was Ashok, and fourth was Kanishka. And in the fourth council that was held at Kundalvan in Kashmir, Buddhism was divided into Mahayana and Hinayan. Any doubt, guys? All of you? Any query, any question, please tell me. AD is Anno Domini, or after the death. So before all the stories or all the we can say events that took place before the birth of Jesus Christ is termed as BC, and all those incidents which has taken place after his death, after his crucifixion, that is called as the AD. Why you want to know the law of the monasteries? In order to become a monk, you have to follow celibacy, you have to follow right knowledge, right conduct, right faith, right teaching, right concentration, all the things. And the difference between Hinayan and Mahayana is that the follower of the Mahayana sect believed that Gautam Buddha is the incarnation of God, and Hinayan people simply followed that the Mahatma Buddha was a teacher, he was not a god. This is the basic difference. You please go through the videos, Mincy. I have already told about all the literature. If you are not understanding, please go through the video once again. You will come to know. You see, there are some symbols which are associated with the Buddha. The lotus or the bull. They will simply ask you, what does lotus or the bull signify for Buddha? You will say lotus or the bull is the symbol of his birth. Horse is the symbol of renunciation. What is renunciation? To leave the home. जो गृह त्याग है, इसको गृह त्याग बोलते हैं. It is called गृह त्याग, or we can say leaving of home. That is called renunciation. Wheel symbolizes the first sermon. People tree or the Bodhi tree is the symbol of nirvana, and death of Mahatma Buddha is stup is the symbol of death, because all the you can say remains of the Gautam Buddha was placed, and on these remains the stupas have been constructed from time to time by the different rulers. So stupa is basically the, you can say, epitome of, or we can say the symbol of death. Stupa symbolizes death, lotus bull symbolizes birth, wheel symbolizes leaving of the home, first sermon, the first teaching, and horse symbolizes the leaving of the home. This is how these symbols are associated with the Buddhism. And sermon means teaching. I have told you, the people who have joined the session late, please go through the video. Now the next is the Jainism. You see, this religion Jainism was started by Rishabdev and it was propagated by Vardhaman Mahabir. So you see, the Jainism guru, or all the gurus of the Jainism who worked for the flourishment of the religion, who worked for the propagation of the religion, they were called as Tirthankars. जैसे बुद्धिज्म में monks कहते हैं या बौद्ध भिक्षु कहा जाता है, similarly in the Jainism we call them Tirthankars. The gurus of the Jainas are called as the Tirthankars. Don't forget this word, Tirthankars. So the first Tirthankar of the Jainism was Rishabdev, who started the Rakesh, I have described it. Buddhism has been divided into two parts, Mahayana and Hinayan. Those people who believed in Mahayana, they believed that Gautam Buddha is the incarnation of God. He perceived Gautam Buddha as a God. And those people who started following the Hinayan sect, they believed that Mahatma Buddha is not a God. He's just simply a teacher or a guide or a mentor who has come on this planet Earth to teach the people and make the people out of the sorrows and sufferings what they are going through. This is the simple difference. Now the things which I used to write over here, that is the we can say extra knowledge that I am giving to you, that you need to remember, that you need to understand. Everything cannot be pinned down. Try to understand that. Remember one thing, Vardhaman Mahabir was the last Tirthankar of the Jainism. He was the 24th Tirthankar who really propagated the religion of Jainism. This Vardhaman Mahabir was born in 540 BC at the Kundagram district, Vaishali in Bihar. Remember this thing, the Vardhaman Mahabir was born in 540, and I have told you this one, Mahatma Gautam Buddha was born in the which one? 563, and he was born in 540 BC. Which one? Mahabir Jain, and at which place? Rishabdev is the founder of Jainism, exactly. At the Kundagram. His father's name was Siddharth, who was the ruler of Jantrika clan, and mother's name was Trishla, who was the princess of the Likshvi family. And Vardhaman Mahabir was married to Yashoda and had a daughter named Priyadarshini. Buddha had a son named Rahul. Wife of Buddha was Yashodhara. Mother was Mahamaya and father was Sudhodhan. But in Mahavir you can simply say his father was Siddharth, mother was Trishla, and his wife Yashoda, and had a daughter named Priyadarshini. Name of the daughter was Priyadarshini. So Priyadarshini was the daughter of which one? Vardhaman Mahabir, we can say Mahabir Jain. Now remember one thing, Vardhaman Mahabir attended Kaivalya. What is Kaivalya? Kaivalya means knowledge. Remember, this word Kaivalya means knowledge. And which knowledge? The knowledge through which a person can get rid of birth and death. So Vardhaman Mahabir attended Kaivalya, that is knowledge, under the sal tree. Sal कहते हैं किसको? बट वृक्ष को. In the village of Jimbagram on the banks of river Rajupalika in Bihar. The name of the river is Rajupalika. The river on which Mahavir Jain attained the knowledge was Rajupalika, that is also in Bihar, and the river on which Mahatma Buddha attained the knowledge, that was the Sadanir river, which is presently known as the Falgu river. Don't forget this. And Vardhaman Mahabir has attained the knowledge under the sal tree, and Mahatma Buddha has attained the knowledge under the people tree. Try to differentiate people tree के नीचे बुद्ध को और sal tree के नीचे किसको? अब बताओगे महावीर जैन को. और इसको रिवर कौन सा था? रजूपालिका. After attaining the Kabbal, his son-in-law named Jamali became the first disciple of Vardhaman Mahabir. वो जो इनकी बेटी थी प्रियदर्शनी, उनका जो हस्बैंड है जमाली, he was the first disciple of Mahavir Jain. तो महावीर जैन का जो पहला शिष्य है, the first disciple of Mahavir Jain was what? So you will say Jamali, who is the son-in-law of which one? Mahavir Jain. After attaining the Kabbal, he was called as Jaina, Jaina, or Jitendra, and his followers were known as Jains. What is the meaning of Jaina or Jitendra? Who has conquered all the five senses. जिसको अपने इंद्रियों के ऊपर काबू हो जाए, उसको जितेंद्र कहते हैं. And what is the इंद्रियां? ये 5 important sensitive इंद्रियां क्या है? Tongue, then we have the skin, eyes, nose, जो olfactory organs हैं, which are highly sensitive, and it means you have to control the mouth, you have to control the tongue, taste, you have to control your mind, so that you should not have distraction and you should have more and more concentration. Since through that yoga practices, through that knowledge, he was able to conquer his indriya, or he was able to conquer his senses, 5 senses, so he was called as the Jitendra or the Jaina, and the follower of Jains were called as Jain. He was given the title of Arihant. What is the meaning of Arihant? That is worthy, one who is having worth, that is worthy, who is very valuable, or we can say who is very precious, very expensive. That is the meaning of Arihant. So he was given the title of Arihant, which means worthy. And Mahavir died at the age of 72 years in 468 BC at the Pavapuri near Patna in Bihar. So remember one thing, he was born in Bihar, and he died also in the same Bihar, 468 BC. There were total of 24 Tirthankars or the teachers in Jainism. First was Rishabdev, Ajitnath, Sambhanath, Abhinandannath, Sumatinath, Padmaprabha, Suparvitnath, Chandraprabha, Pushpandadant, Sitalnath, Sheshnath, Vasupuj. Then we have Bimalnath, Anantnath, Dharmanath, Santinath, Kuntunath, Rahanath, Malinath. Then Munsuvrat, Naminath, Neminath, Parshavnath. He is very important. Don't forget these two. Serpent and lion. His emblem was serpent and his lion. Parshavnath was the 23rd Tirthankar. Mahavir is the 24th Tirthankar. And after Mahavir, the tradition of Tirthankar ended. It means there was no such Tirthankars who can match the knowledge of these Tirthankars. So the process of forming Tirthankars was ended. You see, what are the teachings of Jainism? Non-injury, ahimsa, non-lying, truthful, non-possession, aparigraha. Yani you don't have to accumulate the wealth, you don't have to accumulate the property, you simply live your life. Aparigraha. Non-stealing, asatya. One is ahimsa, truthful, aparigraha. Then we have asatya. It's not asatya, it's asatya. That is non-stealing. You don't have to take the belongings of other before taking their prior permission. So unless until someone not permits you to take the belongings, take the things, you don't have to touch the things. These 4 teachings were given by Parshavnath. Remember, these 4 teachings were given by the Parshavnath. Ahimsa, truthful, aparigraha, asatya. Don't forget these 4 teachings. First is the which one? Ahimsa. Second is truthful. Then we have the which one? Aparigraha. And then we have which one? Asatya. Asatya. Ahimsa is what? Non-injury. Truthful is non-lying. Aparigraha is non-possession, and asatya is non-stealing. And in this particular thing, a 5th teaching was added, that was called the chastity. That is, the person should observe brahmacharya. Yani you don't have to marry anyone. That is called the brahmacharya. So the first 4 teachings of the Jain religion was given by Parshavnath, and that was what? It was the ahimsa. Then we have truthful. Then we have aparigraha. Then we have asatya. And chastity. What is chastity? That is, the person should observe the brahmacharya. It was added by which one? You will say Mahavir Jain. This particular thing was added by the Mahavir Jain. And there are 3 ratnas. Isko 3 ratna कहते हैं हम लोग in Jainism, in order to attain the Kaval. What is Kaval? I told you Kaval is the perfect knowledge or the ultimate knowledge. And by attaining the Kaval, no, you don't have to remember all these teachers' name for exam. You have to simply remember the name of 3 teachers. The first one, Rishabdev, who founded the Jainism. The next one is the Parshavnath, the 23rd Tirthankar. And finally, you have to remember the name of the 24th Tirthankar. And who is that? You will say it's the Mahavir Jain. That's it. You don't have to remember all the Tirthankars. And then we have to remember the teachings given by Mahavir Jain. That was the chastity or the brahmacharya. Then we have 3 ratnas in Jainism. That is right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. Isko aise yaad rakho, KFC. What is KFC? Kentucky Fried Chicken. No, it's knowledge, faith, and conduct. Right knowledge, right faith, and right conduct. Right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, and Samyak Charitra. These are the main 3 ratnas of the which one? Jainism. The philosophy of Jain teachings are based on the teachings of Parshavnath and Mahavir and are known as Anekantavad. Anekantavad. The philosophy of Jain teachings are do not believe in the existence of God. It means the Jainism, through his knowledge, came to the conclusion that there is no existence of God in this universe. ठीक है ना? He simply, it means if the question comes कि who condemned the existence of God, you will say it's the Jainism. They do not believe in the existence of God. They believe in universal brotherhood and equality for all. This is very good. कि सब लोगों के बीच में भाईचारा होना चाहिए और सबों के बीच में समानता. That is called universal brotherhood and equality for all. They rejected the Vedas and Vedic rituals. They told कि don't believe in Ved and don't believe in Vedic ritual. That is the Karma Kand. That is puja, part, havan, all these things were completely condemned. They believe that moksha is attained by believing in penance and dying of slow starvation. This is the fourth important teaching that was given by Jainism. He told if you have done something wrong, then you can only attain the moksha. That is, what is moksha? Nirvana. What is nirvana? Freedom from the cycle of birth and death can only be achieved if you believe in penance. What is penance? Paschatap, suffering. If you have done deeds to someone, you should take the pain of it. You should realize it, how you have been able to make the people suffer. And slow starvation. What is slow starvation? This is called Sallekhan. We call it Sallekhan process. So Sallekhan is a process. Sallekhan vidhi कहते हैं. Sallekhan process. This is a process in which a person first of all used to reduce his diet. पहले वो अपने आहार को कम करता है. First of all he used to reduce his diet, and at the end he used to keep starving, and being on starving, and because of starvation one day he used to die. That is the teaching of the Jaina. You see, there were two Jain councils held. One was held in 300 BC and it was held at Patliputra under the leadership of Stulbhadra, and it resulted in the compilation of 12 Angas and 14 Purvas. ये इसके क्या थे? Literature हैं. These are the literature Ang and Purvas. ये याद रखना. You have to simply understand कि what is Ang and what is Purvas. So you will simply say, remember one thing, Ang and Purvas, A-N-G-A, Ang, and second one is the Purvas. These are the Jain text or the Jain literature which was compiled during the first Jain council, which was held and under the leadership of Stulbhadra. At which particular place? You say it was held at the Patliputra. The first Jain council was held at Patliputra in 300 BC, and in this particular council the leadership was of the Stulbhadra, and in this particular council we have the compilation of 12 Ang and 14 Purvas. 12 Angas and 14 Purvas. These were compiled in the first Buddhist councils. Secondly, the second Jain council was held in 521 AD. Don't forget this. Second Jain council took place in 521 AD, which was held at Ballavi, and Ballavi is in Gujarat. Don't forget this. The first council of the Jainism was held at Patliputra. The first council was at the Patliputra, and second council was held at which one? Ballavi. And where is Ballavi? You will say Ballavi is in which place? Gujarat. And it resulted in the final compilation of 12 Ang and Upang. And the compilation of the Ang and Upang or the Purvas started in the first council and it got completed by the second council. And remember one thing, all the Jain literature were written in the Ardh Magdhi and the Prakrit language. I told you that Buddhist literature were written in the Pali language and Jain literature has been written into the Prakrit and Ardh Magdhi. Don't forget this. Prakrit and Ardh Magdhi was the we can say script, or we can say it was the language. So if the question comes, what was the language of the Jain text? What was the language of the Jain text? You will say that language of the Jain text was Ardh Magdhi. It was Ardh Magdhi, and second was which one? Prakrit. So one was Prakrit and other was the Ardh Magdhi. And what about the Buddhism? So in Buddhism you will say it was the Pali language. The strict religious practices of Jainism has been divided the Jainism in two sects. There are two sects of Jainism, Digambar and the Shwetambar. जैसे Buddhism में थे Mahayana and Heenyan. Similarly, in Jainism we have two sects. One is called the Digambar and other is called as the Shwetambar. Those people who used to live naked, जो बिल्कुल खुलेपन से रहते हैं, जो वस्त्र नहीं पहनते, who do not used to wear the clothes, they are called as the Digambars. And those people who used to wear white clothes, they are called as the Shwetambar. So we have two sects of Jainism. One is called as the Digambar sect. One is Digambar deer and other is called the which one? Shwetambar. One is called the Shwetambar. Shwet is what? White. So those who used to wear the white clothes, they are called as the Shwetambar, and those who used to live in naked form, they are called as the Digambars. So we have two sects in Buddhism, which one? Mahayana and Heenyan, and two sects in Jainism, Shwetambar, Digambar. Three main ratnas of the Jainism are right knowledge, right faith, right conduct. KFC, right knowledge, right faith and right conduct. Don't forget all these things. I hope all the doubts over Buddhism and Jainism are clear, and I have been able to make you people memorize the facts. Is it clear? First council of the Jainism was held at Patliputra and second was held at which one? Vallavi. Vallavi is in Gujarat and Patliputra is in the Bihar part. Okay, na? Rahul, I told you it's an English medium batch, dear. It's not a Hindi medium batch. Why you people don't understand? This is purely an English medium batch. The only thing difference between Shwetambar and Digambar is that those people who follow Digambar, they are rigid in their thoughts, and Shwetambars are a bit liberal. For example, Digambars believe that in order to overcome the bad deeds, we have to practice the sufferings. So for example, penance का होता है suffering. What is suffering? दुख. What is दुख? पश्चाताप करना किसी चीज को लेकर के. If you have committed the mistake, you should have the capacity to admit it. You admit that you have committed the mistake. That is called the penance. Digambars are rigid in their thoughts and Shwetambars are liberal in their thoughts. The Digambar are according to the Digambar teachings, if you come to know, they told कि जैसे भगवान ने हमें भेजा हमें वैसे ही रखना है कि we have born naked, so we should live naked. We should not wear any of the materialistic things on our body. Digambar says कि if you, the Jainas say कि ahimsa is the most important deed that you have to follow. And what is ahimsa? Even if you are walking, and while walking, if some ants comes under your feet, some mosquito comes under your feet, some creature comes under your feet, then you should immediately remove the feet, because if it gets died, if it is dead, then you have done hinsa to him. That is why those people who follow the Digambar sect, they used to eat the food before the sunset, because after you see, just after the sunset, there are a lot of insects in our surroundings, so they are of the precaution that not a single insect should enter into their mouth. Even if it enters and if it dies in that process, then it means you have done the biggest mistake of your life. So these are the basic things. Shwetambar basically believe that they believe in the idol worship of the Jainism. Exactly, you are correct, Aditya. They believe in the ideal worship. And Digambar also believes that Mahavir Jain was only an instructor, he was a mentor, he was a teacher, he was not a god. Is it clear to all of you? The people follow it, but they don't follow it so strictly. And since Jainism, you see, in fact, Jainism propagated and Jainism gave the teachings that one should not go into the agricultural practices, because when you practice the agriculture, when you plow the field, a lot of insects used to get killed in that process. So they condemned the agricultural practices as well. That is why you will see those people who belongs to the Jain community, they will be either good in accounting, banking sector, engineer, or in educational field. They are very. This is one of the most literate community in our India, Jains, because they have been, according to their religion, they have a constraint in doing the physical work or any such work which harms the, you can say, normal creatures or the normal living being. That is the basic thing. So that's it for today, guys. We will meet tomorrow. Till then, do take very good care of yourself. Tomorrow we will discuss on the Mauryas topic. Thank you so much for watching the session. Thank you so much.